All right, welcome everybody to the May 2nd, 2023 Board of Directors meeting for Delta Amateur Radio Club. Let's see. Mike won't be able to make this meeting. He's a little under the weather. He did say that he should be good to do anything in Spark. So when we get to that point, the biggest thing he needs now before he reads the minutes is just knowing what the program is going to be, so that way he can get that in there. And then other than that, we have not met on the website with the PayPal issue, but hopefully I think both of us, it sounds like, should be a little more free to do that this upcoming month in May. So hopefully next meeting that we'll have an update for everybody. But if it works for you guys, we'll just start on our board and officer reports. So Jim, do you want to kick us off?
Actually, I'm sorry. I had a message that I had queued up that I was sending you, and for some reason it didn't go out. I'm working on a critical issue for work right now. I'm on call this week. Can you come back to me in a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I gotta try to get. Well, one, I can't even get to my report because it got stuck in the email filter at work, and I can't bring it up on my machine. I'm on my work machine right now. So I may need somebody else to present it, and I'll talk to it.
Okay, well, we'll come back to you.
Okay, thanks. Appreciate
John?
that. Yeah, for this month, I have Bobby Stroud going to do a presentation on Parks on the Air, and should be pretty good. I know there's a lot of interest in that. And then next month, it'll be Steve Frazier and probably all of us a little bit talking about field day and logging and all that. So I did reach out to David Norris for July's meeting, but I haven't heard back from him yet.
Okay. All right, well, we can get him that information. Mike, so Parks on the Air by Bobby Stroud, and his call sign is what, KD4BS or KD5BS? Joe?
I'll get it for you.
KD5BS.
KD5BS. All right. And so the email, and I'm sorry, y'all, I've just started catching up on emails today. The ARRL dues increase survey, I'm sure we can get, it sounds like Mike was going to put it in there, but I'll confirm. But we do want to have it listed in Sparks, correct? I would think so. Is there any objection to that?
I think as many places as you can get it, even though I think we talked about sending it out to everybody.
I gave him an article about it.
Perfect. Okay. I forgot to ask him about it. So, all right, good deal. Scott?
And also I asked for approval to send it out separately and only got 4 replies.
Do you know what email? I mean, that sounds great to me. I don't remember seeing an email
I thought
about it, or I would have replied yes.
I thought I got an email sent. Yeah, I got an email that.
Yeah, it went out to all the board. Hold on, I can tell you.
Oh, okay. I see. It was just really tiny writing. That's what. No, that sounds good. I mean, and that's smart to send it out separately too. I'm sorry.
It's a pretty comprehensive survey. The only problem I had is that the first question pertained to only members paying annual dues and not life members. And they said that, you know, with you having to send in your email, they know who the life members are and all of that. But I would have thought it would be better to have a button that life member and not have to answer number one, but you can see it when you get to it. I talked to headquarters today and about 2,000 people have already responded.
Okay. When do you want to send that out?
Tonight,
Okay. Sounds good. All right, Scott.
The only thing I have, let's see, I have the nanny one that I got off of Amazon. I have it here. Do we, and then I've ordered a 30-foot cable so I can bring that wireless receiver into the area that we're sitting at to maybe improve it. And I also ordered some foam covers that'll go over the mic. We should have had those earlier, but I ordered some off Amazon. So I'm gonna try that and see if that helps for the communication for the overhead intercom system or speaker system. The only thing I have is really in June, the 13th is our meeting, if I'm not mistaken. I'm probably not going to be here. I'll be in Dolphin Island. So, oh yes. Actually, I'll be probably the 6th for the meeting. I'll try to zoom in from Dolphin, but I might not be here on the 13th. So I probably need some assistance serving up drinks and snacks on the 13th.
Okay.
So if I have any volunteers who can help me out, I really appreciate it. But anything special for snacks this time around?
I think it's been good with what you've been doing.
Okay. No, open for suggestions. So, all right, more tables. Are we good with the table setup for the most part? I mean, we had about 48 last time, so good on tables. Anything else I need to be doing? Hearing none, then I'll move on. Oh, by the way, I did fill out my survey, so I'm one of the 2,000.
Me too.
Good.
I completed mine today.
Joe.
You're silent, Joe.
Jim's on. I didn't know if he wanted to go or not.
Oh no, I'm still working on something here.
Oh.
I was just interjecting that I had done my survey as well.
Oh, okay. I've got Huntsville's coming up. It looks like it takes 33 people to break even. And 30 people would be at $106. 33 would be $98.56. 35 is $94.31. And we haven't had 30 on the bus. I don't have the email where I sent out the previous numbers, but I'm thinking it was like 28 to 30. So it would be at least if we had 30 people and we charge $99, then it looks like it would be about $210 in the hole, just with 30 people. Are we willing to? And then what do we want for, say, after July the 1st or August the 1st increment, $10 more? or make
I
it
would almost
15
even
more.
say 15 or 20, more if
Mm.
it's that late to really push people, because $10 of a difference may not
Yeah.
make that much of a
Are
difference.
people gonna
But
be able to afford over $100?
Well, we'll see what we can cancel it. I believe it's in 15, 16 days in advance. So in other words, the 1st of August, we should know what our basically what our numbers are.
Do we have to put a deposit down?
They're saying 10%, but I've never put a deposit down. I'll verify it that we don't.
Does that deposit get returned if you cancel?
If it, I'm pretty sure it does if it's within a certain amount of time, within I can't believe 3 weeks in advance, there should be a cancellation, really. But then again, hotels do it.
Airlines do it too.
What was that?
Airlines do it also.
Yeah.
so do you think August 1st then, you said the potential deadline, or July? Do you want to do like the July meeting, or?
Yeah, I'd say July meeting. And then the question is how much do we go up?
I do. I mean, personally, I think it would be nice to keep the initial ticket for anyone who signs up early below 100 if we can do that. But then I think it should be enough of a hike to really, like after the deadline, to really try to encourage people to sign up early. But that's my thought though. What do y'all think?
That sounds reasonable. I think $20 is reasonable also.
I concur.
I do too. If it's enough where it hurts, then it will encourage people to commit earlier.
And if we get 40 people, I'm willing to give money back.
Yeah. So you said you think maybe 99 for the early bird sign up,
Yeah,
or do you want to? Oh, okay.
that's psychological.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Do you think it'd be worthwhile to saying if we get 40, you'll be refunded X number of dollars? They might.
Well, if we get
try
40
to plan.
people, it's almost $15. I would say a $10 rebate.
You know, that might encourage them to ask a friend and encourage them to come.
I'd be more than willing to give, and if we get 35 people, I'd be willing to give a $5 rebate. I mean, with the pricing that I see right now.
$5 rebate or an extra biscuit. Your choice.
Well,
Oh,
That's a bit funny.
yeah, bacon biscuits are 5 1/4 now a piece.
I knew you're eating so much bacon was gonna break us one of these days.
Well, I priced it today and I couldn't get a commitment, but they're listing the regular biscuit, ham and sausage are at $3.74 a biscuit, or $3.75 a biscuit right now, where it'd be with taxes $4.16.
maybe that's the biscuits we ought to be buying and we just.
Well,
buy little
that's what
bacon.
I was gonna do, is get ham and sausage.
Yeah.
And chicken is over the 375. It's about, I think, 4.25 or 450. Unless we
Um,
want to cut back to one biscuit.
I think some of those people, that's their breakfast.
It's mine.
And you eat 2 of them, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think you need to cut back on the biscuits.
I need to cut back on the biscuits, but that's a whole nother story.
Well, I know what you mean, but you know, people have gotten used to 2 biscuits and that's their breakfast.
Yeah.
Well, I know I always eat just the one. I never finish my second one, but like, I think you're right. Most people, it seems like they eat both. But I mean, I think it's one of those things where if you want to decide to do just one biscuit, we just need to tell them ahead of time. But I mean, I don't know if it seems
I
like
don't
they
want to
seem
make a
content with
difference
2.
in the price.
Yeah. So I would say just go with 2. And then I may just get with you personally and say, hey, only order me 1. You know, just
Okay.
I'm not for a refund, but just to save the club
Yeah.
$4 or $5 or whatever. So all right, so $99 if they sign up by the July meeting. And then would you say like 119 after that, or going to say 120 or less than that? Or,
119.
okay.
The 9 figures psychologically, it doesn't affect me, but it affects a lot of people.
Yeah.
100 affects me.
Yeah. And then if 35, 40 people or more sign up, then we expect that we can give a refund.
Yeah, but I wouldn't put it
Okay.
in writing. I just,
Okay. Okay.
Do you want me to put any of this in writing at this point, or that we're just working on it?
well, we can, if we decide on a price, we can, well, I've got an article getting ready to go to be put in. So, yeah, you can put down what the price we determine, 99, if they sign up early, and 119 after either the club meeting or August the 1st, whichever y'all want.
And the club meeting is on July 11th.
And then the next question is if somebody has a second person from the household, what do we want to discount it?
What's the break even?
Well, it just depends on how many people are on the bus total.
Well, if it's just 30 something for $99, the $99 charge, we don't want to.
We're going in the hole if it's only 30 people, about $210 in the hole.
Well, we don't want to lose money, so it's kind of hard to discount, a ticket for somebody else in the household when your break even's at 99 for 33.
Well, but I'd rather do that than lose the one person with the spouse, because they'd probably drive if it's
Yeah.
for $200.
So you think maybe a $20 discount if they sign up in a pair?
I'd say what, $75 for the second
Okay.
person.
75, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. So in that case, it would be 99 for the first, and then the second would be 75. Okay.
What if they
That
want to
sounds
bring
good to
a
me.
child? What if they want to bring a child?
If they bring a child under 12, it could be $60 because we wouldn't have to pay the $15 Hamfest entry. And we've done that before.
So child under 12, 60. Okay.
I wouldn't even write that down. We just deal with it when, when they're talking about it.
The kid whose father has been bringing him to some of the events and meetings and all that, how old is he? Because I know he's
13.
younger.
He's 13.
Okay. 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 All right. I mean, I think that sounds good. The $99 by July 11th, the $119 after that, and then the
Or
two in the
July
household.
by July the 12th.
12.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That way it's within the
Okay.
meetings within that date.
Okay. Does that sound good with everybody? Any objections? All right. Sounds good.
And
Thank you for doing.
I checked into a bus Crown. They wouldn't even, we would have to be back by 7 o'clock. And we can't make it by 7 if we stay for the final for the drawing, major grand prize drawing. Because of the 14-hour segment. Klein has been doing it for for a number of years, and then I checked with a Little Rock company, and it would have been $5,000 or so, because a driver would have to stage into Memphis on Friday night, and then also have to stay over Saturday night because the driving time had ended.
Okay.
And I've looked at Tennessee Transportation, and they don't want food on their vehicles and stuff, so that makes it difficult.
Sounds good.
And I'll find out what the cancellation time is and let everybody know. But I think it's 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I don't have the contract right here in front of me.
Okay.
If others keep going, I'll try to look it up on the computer.
All right. And do you want to go on and talk about a training update now, or do you want to wait?
Yeah, I'll go. Training tentatively start a tech class on July the 10th for 6 Monday nights from 6:15 to 9:30. I'm want to try to have it in person at the. I've called the Appling Farms Police Station to see if we can get that facility. If not, we probably can use Ellendale. But I'd like to try to get an in-person training class going again. I think it gives better. It shows people more initiative. Not more initiative, but they have more in the skin when they have to come to the class rather than sitting on Zoom. And also I've thought about charging for the class and $30 and getting a manual for them, or $45 and include the FCC fee or the testing, FCC testing, and they can take one test when the class does, or else they forfeit the $15. I've thought about that, but I just, I'm going to see what if an in-person class improves the pass rate and the continuation of or the people coming to class, because a lot of people just drop out after 2 or 3 classes. I don't know if it's because they can get the W9UU training. Also, Bobby Stroud sent a note to the guy that does the W9UU training, and we got permission to record it and all of that. He said, just make sure that they get acknowledged, and all of our slides have the Wabash club on it. So that meets their criteria. But Bobby was helping me out and did that. I'd been meaning to do it for some time and just never did it. I guess sort of I was afraid that what the answer might be. As Perry knows, an attorney doesn't ask a question unless they know what the answer is. But anyway, that's good that we got that taken care of. But I really and truly don't want to put too much pre-recorded stuff up, because I like to get responses and get interaction with the students, because that's where you get a relationship. And I think it takes, it helps to have that relationship. Then let's see, got the class. Also on the Delta Club information net, I'm working on changing the preamble a little bit, in that when you go through the different groups, you ask for additions and corrections. And I think we are cutting off that group too quick by asking for additions and corrections right at the very front end when they've gotten some suffixes. If you go in and get the suffixes and say, are there any corrections, then go through the list and then ask for any additions, it spreads that time out to where people can get in their time slot, I think, a little bit easier.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know. John, what do you think? Mary Jean, Perry, Barry?
I know one thing I do is I'll ask, before I move to the next group, I'll just say, we'll take one last standby for A through H, kind of give them one more chance.
Well,
to get in.
it's in the preamble. It still says ask for it a second time. But a number of times having to go a third or fourth because of they keep asking for additions and corrections. And I know I do the MedMers net the way I'm suggesting it. And I think other words, you go in and you give back what the suffixes are so people know that they've gotten in.
Right.
Yeah,
And then you ask for, and even if there's a double, I'll pick out usually one double, and I'll say, I got this, and there was a double. And then when I call on the people, I'll say, who was that double? And then take it from there without actually having to ask for, is there a correction? It's just, I think it'll smooth it out a little bit. But anyway, that's what I'm working on the survey, on the preamble. And I think that's it, unless I can think of something while we're having the meeting.
That, I mean, I know it'll, that makes sense to me, that change, because I mean, it kind of gives not really a hesitation, but essentially a kind of a break to separate it a little bit. And I mean, it doesn't seem like it's an issue a whole lot where we have a pile up, but when there is, it seems like it would kind of just help create that space to encourage more people to check in. So I'd say whatever you think. I mean, it does make sense though.
Okay. I'll go forth. I'll pass it. I had passed it to a real new net control and one that's only had it a couple of years, and passed it by them, and they favored it. They thought it, was better. So I was sort of checking first before I brought it up. We do need a net control and an alternate Saturday net control to replace John. He's asked to back down.
Yeah,
I haven't gotten any responses yet from
that was gonna be my next question, was if anybody's replied.
not yet. Might have to do a rotation of alternates every other Saturday. But we'll see what we can do.
Sounds good. Thank you for doing what you do with that.
Okay, I've got one new one. He's going to be a slow starter getting on board, but at least I've got somebody, and he's a strong signal, and it's actually Jack KQ4
DTM.
DTM. He's got a
Okay.
good voice and a good signal, so I don't require it to be a club member. We haven't had it mandatory to be a club member in the past, if they're interested in calling it.
Sounds good. I know you said you're going to look that up, but is there anything else, Joe?
Anything else on Huntsville?
I guess because I know you do so much, so whether training or InfoNet or any other news we need to cover.
No, I don't think of
Okay.
anything. The sale items, I might bring a few of the sale items to the club meeting, but and I'm probably going to post some of the QRP items on the NAQCC website, send it out before the 10th of May for it to be on the May swap shop for NAQCC.
Okay. Barry?
Okay, everything's going the same right now. But if everybody remembers, the 443.700 repeater, went out on us a while back. And I've got the repeater here on my desk, but the what we're using is a loaner, and I would like to replace that loaner. This was a brand spanking new what do they call it, DR2X, Yazoo repeater. And I'd like to replace that. It's from MARA. And this is kind of quiet stuff because it was not done way above board, if you know what I mean. It was a loaner. And
Their president and vice president approved it at the time.
yeah, that is true. But I would like to replace that. And hang on. Well, I don't know where I put it right now. But anyway, it'll be $1,800. And what I figured, just to keep everything above, easy. Once I receive it, I just hand it over. And we're even. And I'll continue trying to work on the one I've got on my bench, but got a little problem with parts right now.
I approve.
All right, so so you're saying, so the one that's in there now is borrowed from Mara, and
Yes.
then since just to get everything back and settled and whatnot, since you're still working on the one, you're proposing we purchase the similar repeater for 1,800 and just simply give them the new repeater.
That
And
is
we
correct.
continue with what we have. Okay. All right.
Slate is wiped clean at that point.
Yeah. So I'm gonna assume that sounds like a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, so I've got a second from Paul. Is there any discussion on this? All right, all those in favor say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? All right, it unanimously passes.
My only question is, do we have a credit card or something like that to put this on?
No,
No.
If you need to, I'll put it on my credit card.
Well, I could probably do it, but what about a tax number?
I don't know what the determination on with it being with our status. I'm not sure how. We have a tax number, but I don't know if it qualifies for being tax exempt.
Well, wouldn't it?
We nonprofit.
Well, Paul, you might be able to handle that.
I don't know.
Are we a 501c or whatever? it's-
501c3. In certain situations, it's tax-free, in certain it isn't. And I'm not sure which.
Where are we buying it from? Are they a state that collects?
Yeah,
Tennessee
DX
State?
Yazoo.
DX Engineering.
Or they
Oh,
collect?
DX
Tennessee?
Engineering is selling them?
Yes,
Oh,
they're the only ones I can find that have it.
no.
All of these others, they'll show it and it'll be at a disc, less amount and all this stuff. And you get in there and start looking at it, it says out of stock.
Mhm.
This is the only place they have two of them. So.
Because we bought them directly from Yazoo in the past.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if they still had a promotion where you could get them directly
No.
from them.
is there any, what brought this on recently? Is there did they kind of come and say something that they were needing it back or whatnot?
No,
or
it's just
just
probably
wanted
my
to-
guilt. My
Okay.
guilt, not being able to get things straightened out. If you know what I mean.
Yeah,
I just
For
don't
sure.
like things like this hanging over my head, so.
yeah,
And then
And-
also Rick and Richard are out of office.
yeah.
I will mention also that, what we decided to do on this thing was to, run it on low power. So we don't burn up any more files. So that's what we're doing with the one now, but we're running, an amplifier, to boost it up. And, that was donated by Rick. So, it's a good setup. I don't
Yeah.
want to touch it.
Sounds good. Well, and this, I mean, because this would leave us then with that extra repeater setup once the one that you're working on is fixed, correct?
Yeah.
So,
If I can find all my parts. I hate to say is, there's a kitten in the house. And it likes shiny things.
oh my goodness.
Yeah. There's a couple of parts I'm missing on it and I know he's done something with it, so. And I don't even like cats.
Mm-mm.
When did you start not liking cats, Barry?
Forever. I guess it started out when I started dating my wife and she had cat and a litter. And one of them I was wearing a corduroy jacket. I had it sitting on the couch and it went over there and peed on it. That cat wound up on the roof.
Oh my gosh.
It's a smart
Mm.
cat.
Oh goodness.
Corduroy jacket was never the same.
Mm. Mm-mm.
Oh, I got one other thing,
All right.
with the, w9uuu.org. Since we did not have to pay for the battery, I thought we might make a donation to W9UUU. I'll make the donation through their website, and help them pay for running their website. Since that got, I thought possibly $50 or $100. And the approval that came back made a note that there were donations were accepted.
So you said battery, you mean the PowerPoint?
Well, the W9UU is the PowerPoint presentations that I do, but the lithium iron phosphate battery did not cost us anything this year.
Oh. Okay.
You haven't seen an expenditure for anything on the battery. John donated it himself,
Oh wow.
or gave it to us to donate, and then he gave a $40 inline meter.
All right. Yeah, I think that would be good. I mean, as much as we've used that in classes, I mean, it would, to me, it would make, it would be a nice way to thank them for doing what they do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, all right. So do you want to give us a motion that we could vote on then, or?
I'll make a motion that we give them $100.
Okay, so I've got a motion to donate $100 to the Wabash Valley group through the website. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, so Barry, W5CJ made second in the motion. Is there any discussion on this? Okay, well, I like the $100. That sounds good. So that way, 50s, I mean, I know anything's better than nothing, but I think 100 says a little bit more. So I like that amount personally. All right. If there's no other discussion, we'll vote. All in favor, say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign or likewise. All right, it passes. Thank you for suggesting that. Do you want to just donate and they get reimbursed from Jim?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Jim, are you doing any better on time, or you still need
Yep.
a minute?
Nope, I'm ready.
All right.
Is everybody ready for me?
Yep.
All right, let me go ahead and present here.
You need us to bring it up?
Nope, I've got it. I was able to go in and grab it out of the filter since I have access to that here at work. Okay. Everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, very good. All right. So hold on a second. Let me look at something else over here. Okay. All right. So for the month of April, we began them with $20,655.17 in our account. We had $2,610.10 in deposits, and we had 2 checks totaling $281.35, which brought us to an ending balance of $22,983.92. So I'm going to go through these deposits. And I also want to thank Joe for taking care of a number of these. Actually, 4 of these 5 deposits were made by Joe. So thank you for your time and multiple trips to the bank, sir. So we had a $20 deposit here, which was our ARRL club commissions. So we had 1 new member and 1 renewal for a total of 20. This $50 deposit here is our deposit from Rick. I'm not even going to try to spell or try to pronounce Rick's last name.
Pelliciotti, I guess.
Yeah,
Paul,
that sounds
you can
right.
tell. How does he actually pronounce it?
I think it's Pelliciotti, but I'm not positive either. I always call him Rick.
All right. Well, we will go with Rick.
I've said
So-
Pelliciotti, and he had corrected me. So
Okay, very good. All right, so he gave us $20 for his membership and $30 for a donation. So that's the $50 there.
and
The
he's
one,
he's the APRS instructor for the tech classes.
oh, excellent. Okay, so then our deposits here on the 10th, the $167.10 for a couple of items that Joe sold and shipped out to a buyer, and the $2,157 that's Free Fest sales. The $216 deposit that I made, this is for both membership dues, and there was 1 shirt sold to Scott McDermott that was included in his check along with his dues for 2023. So we'll see down here that here's his $41, and then his $20, his other $20 from his check is included in the membership renewals. So we had 7 membership renewals, 3 new members. 1 was a prorated amount since it came in after the April meeting. Here's all of our other deposits. And then we had 2 checks, 1 to Scott for our club meeting snacks, and 1 to Mary Jean for reimbursement for the annual Zoom subscription. So, so we had, that total of 2610 $2,281.10 for deposits, $281.35 in checks. And that matches up with what we have here on the statement. Going on, our CDs continue to grow nicely. Nothing really else to talk about there, but I'm open for any questions.
Sounds good.
I'm happy to do the deposits. It's on the way to and fro. It's a lot closer
Okay.
for me to get there than for you, Jim.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thanks, sir. All right, that's all I have for this meeting, I believe.
All right.
And I can make myself available, or I can try to make myself available. Things are kind of busy coming up here at the end of the year, end of the school year, with graduations and such. But Mary Jean, if you want to include me in any PayPal work or discussions, feel free to pull me in.
Sounds good.
So-
Typically, I think it's been working well. We've been trying to meet when we do meet on that Tuesday night in between the meeting and Aries. So it's the third Tuesday of the month. But I mean, we can pick any time or whatnot. So I just told Mike to focus on getting better. And I know I've been real busy, and it sounded like he was a little busy too this past month. So I just told him when he started to feel better, we'll get in touch and pick a date and pick it up again.
Okay.
So,
Oh, also, I did attend the treasurer's seminar from the ARRL that Joe had mentioned.
yeah.
And it wasn't very long, and I can't say there was anything that I wasn't already aware of, but it was good to know that, you know, what I'm doing is, you know, the correct thing. One thing that they did mention is that, you know, maybe, you know, somebody else besides me look over the books every so often. Now I mean, I do, you know, make my presentation every month and it's published and all that. So I don't know if anything else really needs to be gone over, but that's something that they mentioned. And then they also mentioned that that the next seminar is going to be on websites. So I don't know if anybody was
okay.
aware of that or not, but yeah, website development and you know, making your website productive and bringing in new hams and presenting information. So.
Did they say where we need to go to get the date and information for Mike? Like,
You know
was
what,
that on the site or was that in an email?
That was they just mentioned it you know, at the end of the seminar that I attended. So I'll go out to the website and see if or the ARRL website and see if I can grab or find the information for when the next one will be.
Okay.
I can always reach out to Steve Goodgame. He's the one that is working on you know, pulling these presentations together, you know, getting speakers for them, and so I can always get information from him if I need to.
He's in
Okay.
charge of training
Yeah.
for ARRL headquarters. He's from Mississippi.
Hmm.
One other thing, in a court, last month, the board approved possibly refunding money, and I did so, and I've sent it to Jim this past month, or end of last week, I guess, or early part of this week.
Yeah, it was last
And,
week.
it was $35.20 that was refunded, and the ham was very sad. I told him to keep what he had. He was satisfied with the refund and pleased with the way, because I gave him several options. We could refund it, or he could buy the part that was missing. And he said it was only like $6 less than what the 3520 was. And all of that. And it didn't worth sending it back. And then what am I going to do with it anyway? And to me, it was better goodwill to where if somebody comes up and says, you know, have you had any refunds? I can always refer them to him, and I'm sure he would say that it was handled sufficiently.
Sounds good.
Just good customer service, I thought.
Absolutely. So I will have a check to reimburse you for that refund
Okay,
at our next meeting.
and I'll send you the $100 for the Wabash, and you can have that for next week also.
All right.
I'll do it tomorrow.
Okay.
I'd tell you, I mean, that's a good idea. If you want to, Jim, I mean, I'll get with you later this month and we can sit there and go through stuff a little more in depth than, you know, the regular treasurer's reports. Cause it's not a bad idea. But we can get in touch a little later this month to do anyway. And just set up a Zoom or something if that works for you and all
Sure.
that. And if that works for everybody else. And then you said you don't mind looking up to see when the website development thing is, or if not, we can look up.
I'll find out.
Because that might be good. Mike seems like he's been really starting to get into the website side of things. And he did mention one thing he was wanting to do is start getting with the directors one-on-one to get some material updated for the website. So it sounds like something he might be interested in, and hopefully it might be helpful. And that's good that they're offering these little seminars to do. And even if you don't learn a whole lot, like you said, maybe it'll be good to see if we're doing things that kind of align with what we should be doing. So thank you for
I
taking
started
the
reviewing
time
the
to do that.
homepage. I started reviewing the homepage today.
Good deal. Good deal. Anything else for Jim?
No,
Thank you, dude.
I'm gonna go back, Barry, because I know we kind of jumped to Jim while he had some time. How are things with the 8.2 repeater?
It's still the same. It's ISWR is not working right now. We're just kind of trying to set it out like we did last time. I mean, you know the alternative is to our, you know, about a $3,000 worth of climber to go up there and tell us what.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not ready to do that again yet.
Yeah. 'Cause I'm sorry, it's been a crazy past few weeks because are they still doing any work out there at all? I know they were doing a lot for a while, but is there anything that they're out there doing now?
No, last time I went out there was nothing. Well, I'll take that back. There were drillers out there drilling pilings around the antenna. But since then, they're not there. So nothing's changed.
did you go out Friday?
No,
Okay. There was a breakfast meeting Friday, so I thought you might have gone out then.
So I know, because I know 3,000 is a lot. So are you hoping to wait? I'm just trying to get on the same page. So are you wanting to wait just to see if kind of time will fix it, or to wait to see if something happens and we have an idea of what it might be without paying for
yes,
that?
yes, and yes. You know, I mean, I don't know what to do. What do I have a climber to do? You know, we can take some measurements. But I, I don't have a lot of confidence in, you know, anything we have done. I mean, my best guess is that the pigtail, which we've had trouble with before, we've actually replaced it at the end of the coax as it goes into the antenna. Seemed to be a problem one time. And we put on a new piece of Helix and that's worked fine, but it still seems to be the biggest weak link in the whole system. So, you know, I'm just giving it a little bit more time. Rick and I are just, we're discussing it. We don't have a whole lot we can say about it.
Because I remember us talking about that. How long ago was it that was replaced? Do you remember?
That it was replaced.
Yeah,
No.
that piece or the
Well-
fixed or
Well, that was done a couple of years ago.
Wasn't that February 21?
I have no idea, Joe. I'm not the calendar you are.
I think February of 21, February, March of 21, when they replaced the antenna and put a new pigtail on it.
So is it? Because I don't know enough about this side of things. So educate us or educate me really. But does it? I mean, does that sound about right? Like that it would be about time to potentially fix that part, or do you think it might be with all that wind and weather that we had that it would have potentially done something to it, or I mean, like you said, it could, I guess, be something else. But
In these cases, I have not noticed wind or rain affecting it in any way, shape, or form.
okay, okay. All right.
I mean, it could
Whatever.
it could be the antenna for all I know. You know, I don't want it to be the antenna. We pay
Yeah.
too much for that thing.
No, I don't want it to be the Heliac, the 1 7/8 Heliac.
Well, that is true too. That's even worse.
That's more expensive.
Well, is that if it was? I mean, I know, like you said, if you think giving it a little time for yourself and for the equipment and all that, that sounds good to me. But if, I mean, would insurance potentially cover anything like this?
No.
Okay.
Well, we can't tell insurance what's the problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
If we define the
That's-
problem, we can
that is-
possibly
Well,
have insurance.
yeah. That
You know,
is
if
the
we
problem.
knew
don't-
like what the problem was, I mean, is our insurance there, or is the insurance there for just if something happened and it fell off the tower that they would only
Equipment
replace
failure.
it?
It's for
Okay.
equipment failure.
Okay.
Or lightning hits it.
Yeah.
You're
I
muted,
really
Lynn.
don't think our antenna will be hit by lightning.
Yeah.
There's too many others a lot higher up.
Right. How I have not been here obviously, but how has the attendance been on the net this week with being on the 440? Pretty good.
I don't know, 15. I'm not sure. I haven't kept track of the numbers.
It was kind of light. There was one night where I think it was under 10, but most times it's like Joe said, 12 to 15.
That night was when Memphis was playing Lakers, wasn't it?
It may have
Mm.
been.
Okay. All right. Well, that sounds like a good course of action, Barry, and thank you for trying to troubleshoot that. I know it's a lot. Do you have anything else for us?
No, I'm good.
All right, Lynn,
Well, we got field day coming up, so I assume we're doing it with the Neshoba Club again this year, Joe.
We're set for what, the 13th of the month to go out there,
May
or the
11th.
18th,
So anyway, I'll get with him to see.
the 11th.
See who the counterpart is on publicity. And we'll make sure we get covered that way.
Might get Jason KO4DOH to do it for Bartlett.
Okay. But anyway,
Yeah,
I'll see what
yeah.
if he's kind of doing that in the years past, they've kind of taken the lead and I've kind of done a release and we've sent it out. And they've sent theirs out and we pray that one of them get used. But anyway, that's the big thing, to keep that publicity going. And of course, we've got it in the Sparks, and that's where you really want to get it, is within the newsletters. So the hams will know about it too.
Yeah, and
There's a-
speaking of field day, if anybody's interested, the planning meeting, like Joe said, is Thursday, May 11th at 6 p.m. And we will meet at the Kiwanis Pavilion at the Germantown Municipal Park. So Fred sent it out to everyone who's done something with the planning in the past, but he did say in that anybody is welcome to attend. If you've got some ideas or if you are interested in helping out with a booth or whatnot, that's a great time to show up, and that way we can be in person and walk through the site. So.
There are a couple of new rules for 2023 that go to station. There's no limit on the number of contacts made by a go to station for points. And all go to station contacts are worth 5 points.
Okay. I'm sure we'll have more after that meeting, which I know that's after, I know that's after the club meeting, but that still we can get something out in June, or if we need to, we can send out an email at the end of May, but that sounds good. Do you think you're going to be able to make it to that meeting, Lynn, or are you going to get in touch with Fred a little later, or whomever?
I'm going to try to make the May 11th meeting out there.
Okay.
He's the closest one to the field day site.
Yeah, I could almost walk.
One other thing on the go to station, may be operated by any person licensed since the previous year's field day, regardless of license class. It may also be operated by a generally inactive licensee. I want to find out what generally inactive licensee is considered. Is it generally inactive on HF or what? I might be eligible for it again since I haven't operated on HF since last field day.
Mhm. Anything else, Lynn?
That's all I got.
Does anybody have anything else on field day for now?
I got a note from Carolyn that she will not be able to do CW. So we need to try to see if somebody else might want to do CW at night.
Okay.
I knew she was faking it during her presentation on getting into CW.
She has a conflict or something.
Okay. All right, Paul.
A couple things. We talked about the July meeting earlier. I was looking at the calendar and the board meeting is on the 4th of July. I don't know how you handle that. I just thought I'd mention it. Other than that, the applications for this month, there are, Jim mentioned 7 renewals. I've got 6, but I think the difference is the Rick Policiotti one. We actually approved that last month. But the renewals are Kevin Budd, Scott McDermott, TJ Schaus, Randy Snodgrass, Aaron Stewart, and Joe Tamboli. And then there are 3 new members. One is James Friedman, or I'm sorry, James Freed, Philip Baker, and Joe Savage.
James Freed is the 13-year-old
Yeah. And
and
Phil
Phil Baker
Baker's-
is the weather service.
Yep.
Ham.
All right, well, good. Any
Make a
questions?
motion that we accept.
All right, so I've got a motion from Joe to accept the membership application that
I'll
Paul
second
just listed
that.
off. I've got a second from Jim. Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor, say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
All right, any opposed likewise? All right, it unanimously passes. Well, I'm going to come back to where you said the meeting on July 4th. We can wait to discuss it, but would you guys be interested in moving it to that Wednesday or Thursday night? I would not want to, I mean, because with it being July 4th, I know, like, I would think surely that, I don't know, there might be a couple people who are doing activities or whatever that evening, but or would y'all rather keep it or consider moving it back a little bit?
I'd rather do it on the
Or
Monday.
early.
I'd rather do it on the Monday than we have hard enough time getting Sparks together. Doing it on Tuesday, I'd do it on Monday or maybe do it on a Saturday or Sunday.
I would probably prefer not to do it over the weekend time, in case we end up going out of town. What about the week before, on like a Thursday or something?
We can do it on 29th of June, which is a Thursday.
Yeah, the only problem is I wouldn't have a copy of the bank statement for that previous month yet. I mean, I could grab whatever information I could from the website, from the Regions Bank site. So, but I'm not going to have, the nice, pretty graphics or snapshot of the.
Well, we
Not sure if
can.
that really matters.
What if we let's think about it for a month, if that's okay with y'all, because I know this is going to impact Mike the most, probably with Sparks putting together, like Joe said. We probably don't want to shorten that too much. But let's think about June 29th, and then look at the dates and kind of, if you want to figure your plans and see, and then let's decide if we want to move it, what dates might work for you. I know we don't want to go too far ahead, and we don't want to go too late if we do change it. So thank you for catching that early, Paul. So let's think on that, and I'll send an email to Mike too to let him know to be thinking about that as well. Let's decide in June.
Okay. I also did the secretary's ARRL training. The only I did it a while ago, and the only thing that really stood out to me is something that we might want to consider doing is having some kind of centralized document storage for all of our records. Like I know I've got all the secretary records, but I know Jim, you've probably got some stuff. And then we've talked about some documents in the past, like the station license or whatever that license is that Barry's got to renew. Things like your the website renewals, that kind of stuff. They suggested putting that like in a Google Drive or something. And I don't know a lot about Google Drives right now, but I just thought I would mention it, and I'll be happy to look into it more to see. But I was thinking that would be a good idea so that, you know, there's less likelihood we lose something or miss something.
Yeah, and if that was
I like that
linked to the
idea.
club, you know, to the club email, you know,
Yeah.
using that Gmail account, you know, you can tie or you can just use the storage that's available with it.
That's what they did. They used a Google, their club Gmail account. They just changed the password every year when the board changed.
Sounds good.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Well, if you want, after this, I can get in touch with you if you're willing to start scanning and uploading some stuff to there. We can do that. So that way it's at least digital.
Sure. Yeah, I can scan and I can upload what I got, and then I've got a scanner. It's not the greatest, but it works.
Yeah, and
I've
I'd like
got
to do
a
the
full
same thing.
page, a scanner that'll do multiple pages. I can loan it to you.
I've got a Neat Desk scanner that does a really good job, but the actual original software disappeared on me, and I haven't been able to get it again. And the utility that I was able to get just doesn't do as good a job, but it does color and it'll do both sides at the same time.
Oh, mhm.
It's just they're
It
not.
does too, yeah.
They're not as good as they used to be. They're definitely readable.
Mhm. I've got a SnapScan scanner.
Those are good scanners. All right. Yeah, that's a good takeaway.
The only other thing I had is I did send Rick a note thanking him for that donation.
Donation for
When he paid his dues, he put in an additional $30.
Oh, that's nice. Good.
I'm
That
thinking
reminds
maybe we
me, I
should
need to
send
write a
something.
letter to Ray Turner, thanking him for the Kenwood 950S that we sold for $500 or $600 at Free Fest. He
So we
said he,
probably should send some kind of thank you to the whoever it was that provided the Bioenno battery and meter.
yeah, Ham Source.
That's right. Or do we say something at the club meeting about, you know, if you're looking for batteries or solar components or what have you, you know, we recommend this company or something in Sparks to, you know, a little advertisement for them or.
His card's in the advertisement for,
Okay.
I need to get, he sent me a scan of the card, which really doesn't show up good. I need him to mail me a card, and then we can scan it in and have a better copy.
Okay.
but we have put him in on the advertising group.
All right. Thanks.
I'll be glad to send him a note of thank you. I did talk to him and thanked him, but we can send an email with a letter, you know, that we put together.
That sounds good. All right. Anything else, Paul?
No, that's it.
Okay. Perry?
Last time we talked about, and I have no voice, so I apologize. Last time we were dealing with an issue, we had a new member that was unhappy because we apparently weren't welcoming, or I'm not exactly sure, but I've been thinking someone, I believe last meeting said maybe I could track these people down at a club meeting and shake their hand or something. And I don't, it's not a bad idea. I'd be willing to do that. I don't know though how I would necessarily know him by sight or what that would do. I was thinking about what we could do. I thought perhaps we could come up with some kind of welcoming email that I could compose. We could put links to Sparks. We could put information about our nets. We could put, just a general invitation. Hams are happy to help. If you have a question, if you have an issue, please discuss it at a meeting or contact a member of the board or contact me or come see us at the front table. Does anybody think maybe a welcoming email to the new members would be
I
helpful?
think we've got one that's sent out.
Yeah, I
Okay.
send one to all the guests, and then
Okay.
when they new members also get a note with their membership card.
All right, wonderful.
Maybe
Right.
we could have them stand, any new members rise at the meeting and let's welcome them with a big handshake. And maybe some of us can take the time to go over and say hello and we're glad to have you there.
Yeah, I like that idea.
That way not everybody has to do it, but the whole club will welcome them in there, and then other people normally congregate and go pat them on the back and say, glad you're here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea. I think we are dealing with a unique situation with that one individual person. And I'm not exactly sure what they wanted that they didn't get, but that's about all I could think of. And I'm happy to find out we're already doing that. But if there's something, since this is one of my duties, I guess, as vice president, if there's something, that you feel like I could do for the new members, I'd certainly be happy to do that. But Lynn, I think that's a good idea. We could just say, hey, this month we've got, like to welcome 3 new members. Are they here? Would you stand? Everybody give them a round of applause or something. At least that's a start, and get them feeling like we're happy to have them there. So that would be a good idea. And if there's anything else I personally can do that anybody else can think of, just let me know. I'd be more than happy to do that.
Do it at the beginning of the self,
The introduction.
recognition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mary Jean, when you started, say, we had 3 new members. Are they, ask if they're here. Because you can't always recognize every single person. I mean, there's 2 or 3 people on this list that I don't remember who they are that are renewals.
Yeah.
So I
Do
don't
we,
know.
Well, it's kind of hard after a couple of years of not having meetings and then having new members. It makes a big difference.
Yeah.
So do
Plus,
we want
Zoom meeting.
to call them out like individually and just say we had new members of Paul and so and so and so and so join? Are you here, stand up? Or do we want to say we had 3 new members?
I'd
From
just
last
Ask if the
month
new
or-
members are here.
Yeah, the problem you run into if you say is so and so here, you might have 3 other people that did get in welcome last month. So
Yeah,
just say, do we have any new members that have joined in the last 3 meetings since we've been meeting personally? Join or at certain period of time, stand up and let's welcome them. And then after a while, you can go in and say, well, we had 4 members this time, Mo, Joe, Glow, and so, and would y'all please stand up if you're here, and let's welcome you.
yeah,
That way you cover all your bases and it doesn't cost us anything.
yeah, I like that.
Because we don't want
And
to
we
leave
can
out
always-
anybody.
We can always come back in and kind of tighten it down a little more, but I like the idea of starting out pretty general.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Have them stand.
And tell the members, like, be sure to go over there and welcome them to the club. Because there'll be a lot of people that'll go over there and do that. At
Yeah.
least they do at church.
Mm-hmm. A good idea. Well, and I was thinking about that a lot too, Perry. I think you're right. I think it might have been just this particular instance, but trying to look at the positive side of be the optimistic person about it. Like, it was good to kind of stop and think. And so I know I tried to get out a little bit more, and I don't know that I talked to a whole lot of new people, but it's still good that it got us thinking about it and everything, and it may or may not have helped, because I know I emailed a couple times and all that and never got a response, but it's still good to stop and think and see if there's anything we can do better.
Sure.
I like it. I'll add it in and do that before the introductions and everything. Start having them stand. Good idea.
Well, what we could do when they come in, when the meeting starts or before the meeting starts, just look for any new one, that y'all haven't seen. So, and when they first come in the door, because for the most part, everybody kind of knows we all know. And when we see someone that doesn't fit in, we probably just need to introduce ourselves.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing too, you ought to follow that with, Joe or whomever telling who took the test and passed technician, because they're going to be new members too.
Yeah.
So it might fit in well there that, you do your welcoming, get the new members to welcome, and then Joe, how did the testing go? And he can have them stand up and we can welcome them.
Yeah.
Or something.
Speaking of that, I know I talked to Bob a little bit at Free Fest. Joe, I assume, are you still going to be doing that for a while? The VE testing?
Bob is supposed to be able to, he's in a boot where he can walk some now. He'll be
Okay.
there.
Okay. Okay. But yeah, those are good ideas. I'll add it in on my agenda to call for new members, and we can go from there. Perry, do you have anything else?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right, I think I've gone through everybody. Let me check my list. Does anybody else have anything that we need to discuss tonight? All right. Well, the only yes.
We can cancel the bus with 14 days notice. Right now, there's a $233 cancellation fee.
Okay, so even right now, if we canceled, we'd be out 233.
Well, as of right now, no, because we haven't signed a contract.
Okay.
But when the contract's signed, I'll see if we can get it waived. We have in the past. But then again, my guy that I've been dealing with for the last 8 years or 10 years is not in Jackson, Mississippi. I'm dealing with somebody here in Memphis.
Okay. All right. Does anybody have anything to follow up on the bus with that, or anything else that we need to cover tonight? All right. Well, hearing nothing else, if there's no objection, we'll stand adjourned at 8:04 p.m.
Thank you.
Sounds good.
Thank you, everybody.
Perry,
Good night,
thanks for the email this morning.